the hell? All these damn ass. God damn. Damn, we got down that shit. Alright, y'all, boom. Gotta get started. Back, baby, back. What up, Ruff Ryders? No, y'all some Ruff Ryders in this motherfucker. Hold on. Y'all motherfucker came here quick, twin. God damn, hold on. Ryders. Mic check, mic check. Oh yeah, we got some strong Ruff Ryders in this motherfucker. Yeah. Oh shit, let me shout out to Hip Hop Universe. Alright, make sure my mic straight. Yep. Okay. Mic check, mic check. Oh yeah, we straight. Bet. Yo, what's y'all favorite DMX song? Put me on, twin. I know like 3 on. Damn, what the fuck I was about that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Get Hip Hop Universe credit, and boom, we'll get started. Shout out. My damn head set up. Hold on, Jet, we coming. Bet. Alright, we got that out of the way. Boom. I'm gonna check that. Okay, bet. Alright, got that out the way. Boom. And my damn camera. Alright, there we go. Boom. What's happening, y'all? We back, twin. We back.
Another one.
Give me a hell yeah.
We back, y'all. We back. Nah, I've been doing shit. I put this DMX yesterday or yesterday before that. Well, yesterday and yesterday before that, man. I be tired. I be going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Get my schedule in, work my daily job and shit. So we back as promised. DMX. I'm trying to wait till everybody get up in, cause I don't want nobody to miss out. I don't want all my DMX, man. You know what I'm saying? People be getting mad at me, cause I be starting. in our industry, they just now coming in and shit. I might say fuck it and just goddamn go in, twin. Shout out to the 27 people in here. I appreciate y'all, twin. Fuck, we about to go ahead and get started though. Low key. Boom. Yeah. I fuck with DMX hard though. Besides, I fuck with Tupac, I fuck with X. I fuck with X, Juvenile, and my number 4 is DMX. That's my top 4 right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they go ahead. I'm ready to get started. Shout out to Hip Hop Universe for the video. I've been wanting to make a DMX like live reaction, but all his shit. The other documentaries got copyright music in them, man. So I know hip hop. He be goddamn editing that shit out. So shout out to hip hop for doing this, bro.
But Brad, why would you do that to a child?
Oh shit.
Like 30. You know what I'm saying? And he knew how I looked up to him. He knew how I looked up to him. You know what I'm saying? And like, why would you do that?
Oh come on, Damon. We gonna start out like that, twin. Hold on, twin. I'm gonna get prepared for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much about DMX. I know you did Tupac, you know what I'm saying? We gonna forgive you for that, Timmy, because I fuck with you, DMX. We gonna forgive you about that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all know I love Tupac, you know what I'm saying? Where my pocket? Where my Tupac thing at? Y'all know I love Pac, you know what I'm saying? Pac #1, baby. Y'all know I love Pac. But we do that for another stream. DMX versus Tupac. We'll do that another day.
There's somebody who looks up to you, like, I mean,
He feels very abandoned.
Yeah, he feel like his mother abandoned
him. He feels not loved.
You thought I had abandoned you? Why would I do that to you?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I don't know why.
Everybody knows.
Call out like this? What happened?
The monster was born. The monster was born.
Oh, I gotta turn this motherfucker up, so we about to get deep in this motherfucker. Hold on, so we get ready. I'm turning this motherfucker up. Oh, shit, I'm messing my Wi-Fi on. I bet you gotta turn that motherfucker up. We about to get deep already.
The tragic life and death of DMX. Few artists have ever worn their pain so openly, or turned it into something so raw and unforgettable. From the streets of Yonkers to the top of the rap world, DMX wasn't just a rapper. He was a voice for the broken, the angry, and the lost. His music was a battle between faith and demons, hope and self-destruction, fame and suffering. But behind the barking growl and platinum records was a man fighting battles most people never saw. Today we're taking a deep look into the story of DMX. His rise, his struggles, and the heartbreaking end of one of hip-hop's most tortured legends. The story begins on December 8th.
How many mud shots you got, man? Damn.
18th, 1970, in Mount Vernon, New York, when Arnett Simmons gave birth to her son Earl, aka DMX. He was her second child. The first was his sister Bonita, who's 2 years older than him. Arnett was only 17 years old when she became a mother, but she was not fit to be a parent. That's why she gave X's sister Bonita to her sister, DMX's aunt, where she stayed until shortly after his birth, cause she needed to get her life together and figure out how to not only survive on her own, but also how to raise 2 babies. The pregnancy wasn't planned, and it only made things difficult for her. She moved into a home for unwed mothers in Mount Vernon, and then a year later...
I ain't gonna lie to you. It sound like Big Pun shit. God damn. Y'all check my live out, my previous live for Big Pun. I might do a recaption of that shit. Big Pun shit, his shit worse. The way he grew up, his mom dudes. Oh my god.
Her mother, who she saw as her only support, passed away. From there, they moved into a 1-bedroom apartment off the School Street apartment complex in Yonkers, since there were more low-income housing than Mount Vernon. They basically moved into the ghetto, where heat and hot water often didn't work, where the elevators were always broken, and the stairways were always covered in urine, broken glass, and tobacco spit. It was an all-black and Hispanic building, and the apartments had a roaches and rats problem. X's mother was on public assistance, and it was really hard for her to pay all the bills and the rent at the same time.
Damn.
And on top of that, X was also always sick, inheriting a lot of allergies from his mother and bronchial asthma from his father. X explains how he remembers all the scary nights waking up not being able to breathe and having to go to the emergency room where they would keep him overnight. Sometimes his asthma got so bad that they would keep him for a whole week, and they could never find the right thing to do. Not only that, but they also made his condition worse by giving him the wrong drugs. One day he had to go back to the hospital 3 different times because he kept getting sick by the drugs they gave him. His sister told him that there was a time when an asthma attack caused his heart to stop beating, forcing the paramedics to take him out the house in a sit-up stretcher because he almost died.
Damn.
And shortly after that, he got hit by a car while playing by himself in the street. He had
Damn, DMX. Boy, you had a rub twin. I ain't lie. Well, everybody had, you know what I'm saying? It's always a bright though between it. You know what I'm saying?
just found a dime and was excited because it was all silver and shiny. He picked it up and immediately wanted to go to the store to buy himself some candy. He ran across the street as fast as he could, managing to avoid the cars, reaching the store unharmed. He bought himself a lollipop and a Super Bowl, and then rushed back without looking. That's when he got hit by a car. The impact was so hard that he got knocked halfway up the street, all the way under a parked car. According to X, he was badly hurt, but somehow didn't feel any pain. It took a couple of weeks until he recovered. His family is Jehovah's Witness, so his mother turned down the $10,000 settlement that X would have gotten for the accident.
What? She did. Hold on, we got about that back. We ain't gonna slide back that like shit. Like he just didn't say that. What is that? 10 million? Let me go get hit by a car. I ain't gonna lie.
Until he recovered. His family is Jehovah's Witness, so his mother turned down the $10,000 settlement that X would have gotten for the accident. The driver was drunk and ran a red light.
I love, you know what I'm saying? I love God, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Timmy, and we leaving the project. I know you motherfucking lying.
Oh my God!
I know you motherfucking lying.
X grew up in a very religious household.
Yeah, I want to end the damn stream now. That shit, they threw me the all way. I don't even want to watch no more. Shit, what, Timmy? Ain't no, I don't know, boy. I got faith, man. I might need to go to church or something, cause my faith ain't that damn strong. Bitch, fuck that. Give me that TV, you know what I'm saying?
Which helped to shape him and later molded him into a spiritual and religious artist, with countless songs about God and his faith. Something else that left a mark on him was the love life of his mother. According to X, she had dozens of boyfriends, who she treated better than her own son. Every time strangers flirted with his mother, X would get angry and start yelling at them, telling them that he'll kill them. And his mother would silence and embarrass him, supposedly enjoying the attention she got from other men. He would develop anger issues because of it, wanting to kill each and every one of those men his mother would spend the night with. Most of them didn't stay for longer than a weekend, and his mom would supposedly beat him for every man that did her wrong, for every man that quote-unquote effed her and left her. He would also get beaten for looking like his quote-unquote good-for-nothing father. You ain't ish.
I wasn't expecting all this shit. God damn, hold on, son. They about to straight me the fuck out. Get ready, hold on, chat. I know y'all want me to play, hold on. They about to straight me out. I thought we gonna goddamn, you know what I'm saying?
You're just like your father. That's what she would tell him over and over again, even before he was old enough to go to school. His dad knew that he existed, but never thought about living in the house with him. never called on his birthday or helped his mother to raise him. That made it very hard for her, and she took out her frustrations on him, because no matter what he did, he was the problem. His mother also took judo classes and knew how to fight. So the beatings were severe, and every time she got tired, she would let one of her many boyfriends whoop his ass. X always felt like his mother wasn't prepared to have kids. After him, she had 2 more sons, but they died at birth. When X was 5, the man he was named after, called Earl Scott, beat him with an extension cord. X and his sister were bored, so while the man was sleeping, they dripped hot candle wax on him. The man got up and started swinging at them. Only reason why X's mother got mad is because his sister got hit as well. Her right eye got red and was swollen. Then there was a mailman by the name of Richie, who would occasionally pay his mother a visit. X was so scared that he would get stomach pains every time he came. Richie
mailman.
She would immediately go to his mother's bedroom, and after they were finished, his mother would tell him what X did wrong, even if it happened weeks ago, encouraging the man to beat him up. And when he came out with a belt, X knew that he would receive another beating. Stand up, the both of you. Now bend over. Bonita, for not finishing the dishes, you get 2 hits. Earl, because you slammed the door and have been acting up, you get 5. If you moved or tried to run away, he'd start from 1 again. It was the worst experience for him. Something that he remembered until the day he died. But that wasn't the worst beating he received. When he was 6, his mother beat him with a broom, knocking out 2 of his teeth. He would experience frequent verbal and also physical abuse from his mother and her boyfriends, sustaining multiple cuts and bruises and leaving him with permanent scars on his face. But his mother wasn't the only family member in his life that was irresponsible. When X was 7, his aunt Vern made him drink vodka at a family gathering. After a few sips, he had to lie down and felt tired. He got drunk immediately. All he remembered was people cursing. That's where he supposedly learned it from. His aunt basically taught him how to curse without even knowing it, cause they all thought that he was asleep in the corner. But X was listening. His dad wasn't around much. During his childhood, he only saw him once. And that was when he took him to New York City to sell his paintings. He was an artist committed to his craft even during times when he wasn't making any money. He always refused to do anything else. Instead of getting a job that pays well, he chose to go homeless and live in Central Park for a few weeks because he refused to do anything else besides paint. That stubbornness and interest for art was passed on to X, who would start covering his bedroom walls with self-painted pictures, wanting to be an artist just like his dad. In elementary school, the teachers would describe him with 2 words: bright as in intelligent, but also manipulative. Earl is very manipulative, Mrs. Simmons, the teachers would tell his mother. As a kid, he loved to read. He was put into an advanced reading class consisting of only 6 to 7 kids, doing more advanced work than the rest of his classmates. He would also study for spelling bees and be the best in the class. Part of the reason why he was putting in so much effort was to impress his mother, but she didn't really care about it, according to X. He would always wait patiently for the right moments to bring it up whenever his mom had company, going into the living room to inform her about his performance in school. Mama, can I tell you something? What is it, Earl? Mama, I can spell Empire State Building. She wouldn't fully turn towards him whenever she had people over. So most of the time, X was talking to the side or the back of her head, because she was always in the middle of conversations with other people. Ah, that's nice, baby. Now go to your room, okay? Because grown folks are talking. But Mama, I can go to your room, Earl. It was like she couldn't be bothered, like I was always interrupting her. I just wanted to tell her what I knew, to show her how I was doing in school. What the hell was wrong with that? It was like my moms didn't give a F. And I guess that's me thing. But I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that because I was good. I was a good mother effing kid. As the 3rd grade went on, X started getting bored. The challenge of the spelling bees only came once a week, and the other days he got tired of what he felt like was the same work over and over again. Nothing supposedly inspired him, after he finished learning all the material and doing all the assignments they gave him. He put in less and less work, and then even started acting up and causing trouble in school, throwing erasers and spitballing during the exams. He became the class clown and notorious in school for causing trouble. He would randomly start stabbing kids with a pencil. 3 to 4 times a week he would have to stay in class for an extra half an hour for detention. But that didn't bother him, since he didn't want to go home to his mother anyway. And during detention, he would steal the toys of his classmates which they would leave in their desks at school. He even managed to convince the main office into believing that he and his family moved, that they had a different address and phone number, making sure that they couldn't find his mother to inform her when X was acting up in school. One day she found out by herself after wondering why she hadn't received any letters from them. They then wanted to leave him back because of his bad behavior. But they couldn't do it since his mother convinced them into making him take an IQ test, which, interesting enough, came back higher than the kids that were 2 to 3 years older than him. So they promoted him. The smarter I got, the more bored I got. And the more bored I got, the more trouble I caused. Then no one cared how smart I was. It was a effed up cycle.
I ain't gonna lie, him and Tupac, they some goddamn genius, I ain't gonna lie. Damn, he just fucked the life on him, bro. God damn. Shit. I'm glad my mom won't like it. God damn. I just, you know what I'm saying?
And through it all, I just felt that I wasn't being hurt. I wasn't being allowed to fly. One day, he didn't go home after school. He and his friend went to a supermarket and stole some gum and stayed outside to play until 4 a.m. His mother was scared to death and actually looked for him with the police. X told them that he doesn't want to go back home. She then forced him to always go straight home after school, while all the other kids were allowed to play outside. The parents in the neighborhood told their kids to stay away from him, because they saw him as a problem child and a bad influence. So the kids distanced themselves from him. And the only ones who were still hanging out with him were either homeless or had irresponsible parents who didn't care about them. The best time for X was when they paid his grandmother a visit, cause his mom couldn't beat him in front of her, and he was also safe from her boyfriends. He was also allowed to play outside. No strict rules, and finally someone that showed him love and care. That's why he later made songs dedicated to his grandma. In 5th grade, when he was 10, the beatings would get worse. He would come to school with a busted lip and bruises all over his body. The school nurse pulled up his shirt and saw all the bruises on his back and arm. There were marks going down the back of his legs. That's when the court started talking about taking him away. But his mother would say that if he just stopped being bad, she wouldn't have to punish him so much. So it was suggested that she takes him to a child psychologist. But they barely made any progress because X refused to talk to him. By the end of 5th grade, he was fighting all the kids at school, throwing chairs at teachers. He didn't care about anything, so he took it as far as possible. The judge then told his mother that since she was incapable of keeping him out of trouble, the courts had to intervene, and so he was sent to Julia Dykeman Andrews Children's Home, which is a school dormitory facility about 20 minutes away from their apartment. The term was 18 months, and it marked the beginning of his incarceration. There he got into a fight with a Chinese kid after setting the basement floor on fire, thinking that burning a blue can of paint would turn the room blue.
God damn. The basement floor? Oh, hell no. This shit crazy. This kid like that for real around in the world like that for real, bro. That shit crazy. Damn, bro. I ain't know his childhood was like this. You know what I'm saying? God damn.
The floor turned black and the fire wouldn't stop burning. 24 hours later, after the building almost burned down.
Let me know. I seen one clip when he was talking to his son. He was talking about, I don't know how to be a father. I see why now. Shit, I see why he said this shit. God damn, man, dude. Shit, ain't his daddy? God damn.
X was charged with arson and thrown into the youth division of Yonkers jail. The Chinese kid got away, and that's why X attacked him. The kid's parents pressed charges on him for assault, and it was decided that X was no longer fit to be part of the normal school population. He was forced to move out of his room and for the rest of the term live in the school infirmary. He was no longer permitted to take classes with the other kids or to eat meals with them. He wasn't allowed to spend time with anyone. Shortly afterwards, they moved him into an unused office, where he had to stay during school hours. After about a week, X had enough. They didn't let him do or eat what he wanted, forced to being locked in, alone for many hours without anyone to talk to, watching the kids play outside while he's locked up all alone without anything to do. The next time his mother came up for a visit, he told her how they were punishing him and begged her to let him leave. "I'm not going to uphold you in your wrongdoing, Earl. You made your bed, so now you have to lay on it." X started to feel like a caged animal, trapped. There was nothing he could do or say to get out of that office. According to X, that's when his anger issues got out of control. "I began to listen to my instincts and my anger started to explode. Not only did I stop giving a F about everyone and everything around me, I began to believe all the bad that was ever said about me. Earl is manipulative. Earl is a problem. Earl has made his bed hard. And I swore that I would have the last laugh." From that point on, people started to call him Crazy Earl. Those 18 months he spent at the children's home gave him a rep in the neighborhood. And X made sure that he lived up to that reckless reputation. He would put rocks inside of snowballs and throw them at strangers for no reason, rob people and knock out kids for fun. But that would oftentimes make him end up in the youth division of Yonkers City Jail, where anyone under the age of 17 gets held until a parent comes to pick them up. X was 7 years old the first time he was there, busted for shoplifting out of a supermarket. And every time his mom came to pick him up, she would start beating him in front of the officers, who would advise her to punish him at home and not in public. After coming home, he tried to stay at his grandmother's house as much as possible to avoid the drama with his mother and her boyfriends. She had given away some of X's favorite toys with the reasoning that he doesn't play with them anymore, even though he didn't really have a chance to play with them since he was forced to stay at the children's home. So by the time he got back, his mom gave away his toys, and now X had even less reasons to stay there, especially with his mother's boyfriend Richie the mailman around, who his mother tried to motivate into teaching X a lesson, not just verbally but also physically. But by this point, he wasn't 8 anymore. He started to fight back. "No, man, no, get away from me. You ain't my father." He was tired of being nervous and scared around him. "F you." Richie was supposedly shocked. "What did you say to me?" "F you." This resulted in a screaming match, but he supposedly managed to avoid a beating. But now his mom started to punish him in different ways, by forcing him to stay in his room, at first for a weekend, then for a week, and after that for a whole month, taking away his toys, not allowing him to watch TV or play with his sister, forced to be alone with nothing but food and water, staring at the walls, studying the cracks in it, peeling the paint off the ceiling and scratching the walls, being alone with nothing to do.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say right now. God damn, this shit, it ain't getting no better. It's just getting worse and worse. God damn. God damn.
Was really tough on him, since boredom was the thing that he hated the most. It made him get out of control at school and at the children's home, which had introduced him to this kind of isolation, which forced him to be stuck with nothing but his thoughts and fantasies. Cause all he could do is think and entertain himself by fantasizing. After leaving the children's home, he was forced to go to a progressive school on the rich side of town. There were only 2 black kids in the entire school, and he only lasted 2 weeks there. The vice principal put him in a cab and let him drive to the girlfriend of his Aunt Vern, who's called Paula. Soon as he got there, Paula hit him with a big wooden billy club, breaking it on his head. The whole family felt like X needed more discipline. He tried to run away, but she followed him, hitting him in the face repeatedly. And X tried to block the hits with his hands. She hit him so hard and so many times that the wood started splintering off the club. By the time she noticed she went too far, The carpet was covered in blood and wood splinters. His elbow had swollen so large that it looked like it had a big salt ball on it. The only person who had a problem with him getting beaten was his grandmother, who started lecturing them for not taking care of him and putting his life in danger. In 1981, when X was about 10, his mother grounded him for an entire summer. He didn't even know what he did wrong. There were also times where she just beat him without hearing him out, accusing him of doing things he didn't do, not wanting to hear him explain and not wanting to believe him, according to X. One time she gave him a beating in the kitchen in front of the stove, with a thick wooden spoon over his head. He kept saying, I didn't do it, but she didn't care. If he tried running away or accused her of lying, she would chase after him and continue the beating. Sometimes she would say, well, next time say that, after beating him before hearing his explanation. And X would always tell her that he did say it repeatedly, but it never mattered. At one point, X got too fast for his mother to catch up, so she would start beating him in the middle of the night while he was in the bed, pulling up the covers from the bottom, sitting on his back and slapping his behind, which would wake him up and pull him out of his dreams. He then tried sleeping on his back so that she can't hit his behind, but then she would just hit his chest, causing him to have an asthma attack. Ma, stop, please, I can't breathe. No, Mama, no, I can't breathe. Well, when I get finished whipping your behind, then I'll take you to the emergency room for your asthma. And that's exactly what she did. After she was done, she'd call a cab and take him to the hospital, so that they could put him on a breathing machine. Things got so bad that he began to contemplate his mother's murder. He was always isolated in his room, left alone with his dark and deep thoughts. Night after night, he would think the act all the way through, play the steps over and over in his mind. First go in the living room, then kick her in the stomach and make sure that she falls out of the window. Then all of my pain would be over. But X would always feel bad for her, even while having these dark thoughts, which made him know that he didn't really want to kill her. He was just mad at her. He still loved her and knew that he could never hurt her. He just wanted her to be there for him and show love and care, just like his grandmother would. At age 13, he would run away from home and sleep on the streets just to get some breathing space from his mother. Earl, where have you been? I ran away, Mama. But you got a bed right here. You made me worried sick. Home was the last place he wanted to be. She refused to let him live with his grandmother. So he took to the streets. No money and no plans of going to school. It was cold, so he would crawl into clothing bins outside the Salvation Army in Getty Square. It was the warmest place he could find, and his mother never looked for him. She felt that if X wanted to stay lost, there was nothing she could do about it. Why are you doing this to yourself? She asked him after X managed to survive a couple of days on his own. And why do you look like that? It's cold out there. Well, it serves you right, Earl. You should have come home. While he was outside, he found a beat-up stray dog and tried to take it home. But some of the kids in the neighborhood kicked it and made it run away. He never saw him again. But from that point on, he would bring home dogs and turn them into his pets. It was against the rules of the building they lived in to own pets, so his mother was against him bringing home dogs and letting them stay with him. She tried to get rid of them one by one, but X would sneak them back in while she was at work, hiding the pets under his bed. But one of the dogs gave birth to puppies, so X took them to the roof. The building they lived in had 12 floors and they lived on floor 11, so he could easily go up to the roof and spend time with his dogs. He would leave them there overnight with a pillow and blanket. X realized that he could get along with dogs better than with humans, so they became his best friends. It seemed the more love I gave them, the more love they gave me back. And dogs didn't know betrayal. All I had to do was hug them, feed them, and I knew I didn't have to worry about a thing. Because as soon as that roof door started to crack, my dog would growl and start to protect me. It was the same way on the streets. Once I got a dog to trust me, he was loyal to me and wouldn't let any harm come my way. When X was 13 in 1984, his mother took him to visit Children's Village School for boys, where she dropped him off without warning, forcing him to live at a group home.
They told me that if I didn't find a place for you, the judge did, that they was going to take you and put you where they wanted to put you. They told me to pack you a bag, and I had nothing to say about it.
You can't leave me. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel for him too, bro.
we came here. I'm supposed to go home. And you just left.
And I heard you, Ma, don't leave me. Where you going? And they said, Miss Simmons, don't look back. Keep going. You're just going to make it harder for him. And so I kept going.
Right then and there, I learned to just put away, conceal, bury, whatever bothered me, and store it. I think another side of me was born right there. The side that enabled me to protect myself. Don't worry about it. I got you now.
He decided the only way to cope was to stay to himself, spending his free time at the library. Reading was salvation for him, and he enjoyed his time away from his mother. But he still missed his dogs, which were trapped on the roof without food or water. X would soon revert to his old habits, starting fights with people and causing trouble with the teachers, with his constant complaining about the rules and regulations. But around Thanksgiving of '84, meaning after 6 months at Children's Village, his stubbornness started to fade away, and he became homesick. He wanted to see his dogs and get a couple of new ones. They actually allowed kids to return to their families for Thanksgiving, so X was excited. But his mother didn't allow him to come back. There's a family emergency. Earl is not going to be able to come back home today. But he's all packed and the bus is already here to take him, Mrs. Simmons. Your son has been anticipating this trip for a long time, they told her. I'm sorry, but when I say my son can't come home, he can't come home. She never gave an explanation. X got angry and started...
I ain't gonna lie. I don't disrespect people's mama. Their mama ain't shit. Fuck. God damn, you goddamn treat the boyfriend better than the goddamn your kids, bro. Like, word. Ooh. So all my fellas out here, be careful you got kids with, bro. Yeah, make kids with. Be careful you lay down with.
Growing things. Cause only he and the orphan kids didn't get to go home. 84 was the year that X fell in love with hip-hop and started rapping. The kids would bring their boombox down to the common room and turn on the radio, where they would occasionally play music with a hard enough bass line for them to spit a rhyme off the top. At first, X would just stand to the side and jam to the music, while other kids freestyle battled to see who's the illest. X didn't want to feel left out, so the first weekend he was allowed back to Yonkers, he made sure to stay up and tape record Mr. Magic's Rap Attack show off the radio. The night X was taping, he heard Houdini's 5 Minutes of Funk for the...
See, you think he's a badass kid? Look at he had no reason. He had no choice to be a badass kid. You know how your mama was? Lord,
the first time and got an idea. He basically memorized the entire second verse of that song and took it back to Children's Village, pretending that those lines are his. Everyone gave him props and hip-hop only grew since then. X would notice people breakdancing, tagging on a wall, rhyming, DJing or b-boying, and X loved it. He taught himself how to beatbox and became the partner of a rapper called Ready Ron, who was more than 10 years older than him. But in order for him to be Ready Ron's beatboxer, he needed a name. DMX was the name of one of the best early drum machines a lot of the kids were using. And since he felt he was nice with the beats, he took that. So he changed his nickname from Crazy Earl to DMX the Beatbox Enforcer. Ready Ron was something like an older brother to him, someone he idolized. He would encourage X to start rapping himself, while Ron did the beatboxing for him. He's the reason why X took rapping so seriously. In fall of '85, when he was 14, he was released from Children's Village after 18 months. His mother was hesitant about having him home again, but she knew that if she didn't take him back now, she would lose him forever. This was her last opportunity to have a relationship with him, cause he hadn't been home much since he was 10. First thing he did when he came home is to look for a new dog. He stole one from a junkyard and called him Blackie, for which he later had to serve a couple of months in the juvenile unit of Woodfield Prison in Valhalla, New York. His mother still didn't want any dogs in the house, so when she kicked Blackie out, X left with him and went straight to the roof. This time he decided to sleep there with his dog by getting more pillows and blankets. He was the love and affection and companionship I needed, and now he was mine. I knew that I would never be alone again. He then went to Yonkers High School, which was the baddest school in the city, according to X. There, his biggest concern wasn't the classes, but the fact that he was broke and hungry, looking ragged and poor, unable to keep up with the flyest people in school, watching people eat while he was hungry. Neither his mother nor his grandmother could give him money, so he decided to get it by all means necessary, by doing robberies. His first victim was a lady walking out of a supermarket. X was hiding in the bushes and then jumped out, snatching her pocketbook and then running off. She had over $1,000 in her purse. He spent some of that money to buy himself some clothes and shoes, but also a leather collar for his dog Blackie. During lunchtime at school, he would buy himself big turkey sandwiches just like everyone else, showing them that he can keep up with them and doesn't need much to succeed. After school, he would get back to robbing people. And at one point, he even started robbing kids at school. Sometimes he would use his dog to intimidate and bite people. He even trained him to grab other people's belongings and then run off.
Damn.
According to X, robbing people gave him strength and confidence. He'd rob 3 times a day, before school, after school, and on the late night. Even formed a robbery crew with 2 partners called Nick and Reg. He would skip school and care more about money, looks, and validation than his academic future. In December '85, when X was just about to turn 15, he tried the drug mescaline for the first time. His friend Reg encouraged him to drink a beer right after. That night they robbed a woman and almost got caught by DMX's mother, who saw the robbery happen but didn't recognize him. She called for help the moment X ran away. Shortly after that, when X was still 14, his mentor Reddy Ron, who was almost 30 at this point, introduced him to something that ended up ruining his life and destroying his spirit. Until then, he would drink 40s, smoke weed, and experiment with drugs like mescaline. But then Ron spoke of the great high X could get from what they call a woolie, the new thing on the block. A woolie is a blunt laced with crack cocaine. X was still a kid. He didn't tell him how differently it affected his life. He didn't tell him of the war that he would have to fight to kill the desire for one of the most addictive drugs in the world. He didn't tell him how quickly it would ruin what little was left of his relationship with his mother, sisters, and even uncles. He had no idea how much he would have to suffer from that point on, not knowing how strong it was, and that it would end up taking his life decades later.
But this guy, man, this guy, he introduced me to what would be the best part of my life, which would be the rap. But he also, at the end of my life, is blessed with the curse. And the curse aspect of it was, like I said, I didn't smoke cigarettes, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't do anything. I'm 14 years old, and me and my man do a robbery one night, and it was his birthday, and we came back, we spent the money. I said, hey, take this, go get something nice for your birthday, whatever. So he came back with a blunt rolled up, and as I'm counting the money, he lights the blunt. And I said, I was impressed. I don't really smoke, I got it. And he passed the blunt around, and wow.
Dang. Peer pressure.
And I had the blood, and I'm like, I was no longer focused on the money. I never felt like it just off me. I'm like, the fuck? And, I later found out that he laced the blood with crack. With my thing. Why would you do that to a child?
Right.
And this nigga like 30, you know what I'm saying? And he knew how I looked up to him. He knew how I looked up to him, you know what I'm saying? And like, why would you do that to somebody who looks up to you like that? You know what I mean?
Take your time, brother.
The monster was born.
Rap.
That's what's going. I mean, and that's like I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I mean, like,
that's fucked up, bro.
Especially
like, really.
someone that you supposedly love.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
X was now doing even more robberies to buy himself crack cocaine. So he didn't just do it to buy himself food and to stay alive. He would rarely come home and live in the streets or in the park. During his worst days, when he ran out of money, he would be forced to go back home to his mother and sisters. But he always tried to avoid letting them see him in that state, cause he had turned into an addict, a junkie. What made his drug problem even worse was the death of his dog Blackie, which happened in 1986 when X was 15. The police shot and killed his dog after X and Blackie chased someone for being disrespectful. The dog was shot after struggling to calm him down, upset because the police tried to arrest DMX. So now there was no reason for him to sleep on the roof. He actually never went back there because it reminded him too much of his dog. He would sell coats in his mother's closet, sweaters from his sisters, or his old clothes in his room. Anything that would get him closer to the next high. Giving people VHS tapes, shoes, sneakers, and even giant-sized bottles of bleach or laundry detergent. All as a payment for drugs. A week after Blackie's murder, he walked into the lunchroom of Yonkers High School with a sawed-off shotgun taped to his leg. The gun came from the floor up to his knee, so it made him walk with a limp, like he was crippled. He didn't care about going to jail, he didn't care about dying, he didn't care about living, and he also didn't care about his mother finding out about his robbing and stealing. Wasn't ashamed of it. If she was home the times he walked in the house with someone's pocketbook, he told her the truth. I needed some money. I was hungry. To which she responded, as long as you tell the truth, Earl, I will always support you. But if you're not with me, I cannot say that I know what you've been doing. If you're not with me, I can never tell anyone that was not my child. So if the cops come saying you did something, Earl, I'm going to show them to your room. And that's exactly what happened. Cause less than 2 weeks after Blackie's death, the cops came knocking on the door and arrested him. He was facing a 2-year sentence and was sent to Industry Institution, which is a minimum security facility for juvenile offenders. It was now early December '86. X was just about to turn 16. He actually tried to escape in the middle of the night when the temperatures fell below freezing point. He and his partner knocked out one of the guards, but somehow the alarm went off and they sent dogs after him and
his... I ain't gonna lie, that motherfucker DMX was ruthless, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he should've been thug like too, I ain't gonna lie. At this damn point, god damn, that nigga ain't give a fuck. Shotgun, knocked out, god damn. Shit, Tupac the GOAT.
Cellmate. In the woods, it was pitch black, so they couldn't see the dogs, but they heard them barking behind them. One of the dogs bit X in the back of his leg. He fell face first onto the ground and then started fighting back, kicking the dog repeatedly. By the 4th time, the dog stopped barking and started whimpering. X was still on the ground, leg bleeding, but the dog wasn't going to bite him anymore. He and his partner walked for 3 more days. They were heading south towards where Cellmate lived. They didn't have anything proper to eat, no warm place to stay, avoiding the highways to avoid the cops. Then they finally reached the basement of X's cellmate's friend. He left X there and disappeared. The next morning, the owners of the basement took care of him and gave him something to eat. He stayed there for days and even spent his 16th birthday there. A couple days before New Year, the owner of the basement gave X money to get a bus back to New York. At around 3 a.m., he got back to his mother's apartment. His clothes were torn apart, and the big gash on his leg, where the dog bit him, was now infected. The first thing his mother said when she opened the door was, "Well, look who it is. How did you get out, Earl?" X was taken aback. After everything he went through, he received such a cold reaction. How about "I'm happy to see you" or "Are you okay?" After greeting his sister, he immediately left and went to his grandmother's house. His grandma was happy to see him. She let him stay there until 3 days after New Year, cause that's when the cops knocked at her door, together with DMX's mother. His mother was arguing with his grandmother. "I know he's here. You just let him do anything he wants to do. Well, I'm his mother. It's better to do it like this, Earl, his mother told him. Honey, this is all because of you, and you have to pay the consequences. The holidays are over. Now it's time for you to go back where you belong. He was facing 2 years, but his mother made it seem like he's only back for the holidays. His grandmother then told him, "Go back, baby. It's okay. We'll get you out," while looking at him and trying to smile. X told himself that he'd never forgive his mother for what she just did. The cops then cuffed him and brought him to McCormick Juvenile Institution instead of Industry. Unlike Industry, McCormick wasn't afraid of bars.
I ain't know he was going through all this, bro. Like, word. That shit crazy. Him and Big Pun. Nah, Big Pun shit worse. If y'all know Big Pun, if y'all fuck with Big Pun, you know what I'm saying? Him on dude. Oh Lord, that motherfucker on another level.
There were gates and barbed wire fences everywhere and guards with guns, making sure that the inmates have no way to escape. While being locked up, X had a lot of time to think, especially about his career as a beatboxer. He asked himself, why am I letting Reddy Ron get all the attention? Cause he was just beatboxing for him, while Ron was the face of their crew. Every time they did a show, the girls were all over him. So he decided to become a rapper, starting to write rhymes while being locked up. He had brought a boombox with him, so he used it for background music and wrote about everything he knew. Yonkers, School Street, lockup, group home, robbing, stealing, running, hustling. It gave him a way to talk freely, gave him the tool to express all of the thoughts that had sat unheard in his brain since he was 7 years old. When X came home from McCormick in early '88, he was an MC. An MC by the name of DMX the Great. Yonkers High School shut down when X got locked up, turning it into a middle school for younger kids. If his mother had pressed the issue, X could have gone to a different high school, but it didn't happen. So X was technically done with school. He also felt like juvenile offenders like him weren't exactly welcome additions to a school population, especially when their new hobby was stealing cars. He was 17, about to turn 18 in a couple of months. His uncles brought him to a teenage refuge called Nappahan Community Center, where he would spend most of his time writing lyrics and reading books. But he would also cause a lot of trouble. They'd always kick him out, but X would return the next day doing the exact same thing, with them being unable to do anything about it. Every year, Yonkers sponsored an African American Heritage Day in Trevor Park, and the center would set up a stage where the kids could perform and show their talents. DMX was told to write a poem and competed with 12 other kids. He actually ended up winning the competition. They then set up a PA system in the parking lot, and X could perform one of his raps in front of a crowd full of teenagers and kids.
We gotta get credit when credit do, like little program like that. Then discover some of our greatest hip hop people, like arts and what's Tupac was in? I can't think of the arts and crafts shit. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, y'all know what I mean.
He thought about using his talent to make money with rap music and to use it as a way to get out of the ghetto. But then he also had crazy ideas like opening up a sneaker shop and then selling drugs in it. He would boast about his plans and shock the head counselor, Mrs. Gaines, openly telling her that he's going to sell drugs. I'm gonna open me up a store and just go down to Manhattan and buy sneakers where they're cheaper. Then I will bring them back to Yonkers and the kids will buy them from me for whatever price I want. Mrs. Gaines then smiled and said, "That's a good idea, Earl. Then when I get everybody in the store, I could sell drugs in the back and make real money." Hearing that, Mrs. Gaines almost dropped her bag in disgust. Why would you do that? Selling drugs is illegal, young man. What? It's not like I would have to hustle to find customers. They'd be coming to me. Earl, all that's going to happen with that plan is I'll have to end up visiting you in jail. So what? I'm probably going to end up there anyway. But I'm trying to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25, Mrs. Gaines. Oh really? Why do you want all that money, Earl? Mrs. Gaines, how much money do you make? That's not your business. You probably don't make no money, Mrs. Gaines. Earl, I bet if I did my sneaker and drug thing, I could make more money in one night than you make in a week. But what good is that if you're in jail? 20 years from now, I bet you're probably going to be doing the same job, making the same money. You bust your butt from morning to night, and all you get is minimum wage. Mrs. Gaines couldn't stop laughing after that. Up until that point, robbing people was his way of getting money. Taking someone's jacket was a way of staying warm. It was a thrill for him, but he treated it almost like a job. Stealing cars, on the other hand, was different. He did it just for fun. He'd teach half the neighborhood how to do it, and everyone started stealing from each other. They even tried to steal DMX's stolen cars. The cops arrested him a couple of times, but they always let him go. There was one time when he got chased by the cops and tried to shake them off, but then went headfirst into one of the big brown telephone poles, crashing the car and escaping by foot, running through a forest. But there was this one time when the police took him to the station and questioned him about the stolen cars, because they caught him buying alcohol even though he wasn't old enough. They pretended to take him to the store so that he can point out the guy that sold it to him. So he jumped in the car and they took him directly to the station, asking him about the stolen cars. One of X's partners actually snitched on him and pointed him out. During that time, X was on probation, trying to avoid trouble with the cops. But now, after the arrest for carjacking, X became a convicted felon. He was sent to the farm, which is the minimum security division of Suffolk County Correctional Facility in Long Island. There, X and his people forced the white guy to get his sister to smuggle some weed in, which X wanted to sell to get enough money to pay someone for sex inside the jail cell. But he never got the chance to do it, because the white guy informed the guards and they sent the riot squad, locking down the whole mod, tossing and strip searching everybody. They were now on the way to the big house, charged with extortion. So he was transferred to the main unit. There he was able to write more and more songs, rhyme after rhyme, producing pages of lyrics. After 2 weeks in the hole, he was transferred out of the lockdown block into the minors. There he received a terrible beatdown after one of the guards told him that the shower is over. X spit in his eye and then got jumped by 5 members of the riot squad in full battle gear. This was also around the time he met the rapper K-Solo, who was locked up with him. They rap battled for over 45 minutes and there was no clear-cut winner until X spit one of his new verses he wrote for a song called Breaking It Down. K-Solo supposedly admitted defeat after that, and they never battled again. But they would hang around together and had a cool relationship while they were locked up. The victory gave X confidence. He couldn't wait to get back to Yonkers and show everybody his rapping skills. Within 24 hours of getting released, X saw the guy that snitched on him and punched him in the face. The guy then called his crew for backup, and X got into a brawl with him. And this, of course, led to another arrest. Every time X got locked up, he would write lyrics, and it would increase his resolve to do music. X then came home in summer of '88. He was determined not to get in legal trouble again. He had about 15 to 20 songs written. His plan was to make his own mixtapes and sell them on the streets to make money. For that, he not only needed a DJ but also a microphone and a pair of turntables. He quickly found what he was looking for and recorded his first cassette tape. He then sold copies of it for $5, and it was a success. He not only made a name for himself in the streets, but also got enough money to quit robbing people. He would even battle people to show off his skills and make them buy his tapes. Battling made me feel powerful, like my rap skills were grenades in my pocket that I could throw at any time. I just wanted to finish everybody, shut down every MC I came across, and make them want to give up rhyming for good. But then he had to go back to jail once again for 90 days. In 1989, he then recorded songs together with Lord Kaysan, who had his own microphone and tape deck in his apartment. That's where they made the song Spellbound, which he supposedly used against K-Solo during their battle in jail. And over time, his songwriting ability and flow got better and better. He released more and more underground tapes to make a name for himself and build a reputation. One day when he was battling at a club, he got approached by a talent scout called Jack McNasty, who was looking for new rap acts. He was managing rappers like Biz Markie, Just Ice, Big Daddy Kane, and some other big names in hip-hop. So X accepted the offer to work with him. And a few months later, Jack McNasty invited X to move into his house in New Rochelle.
I'm glad we getting the final. Now we getting into it, you know what I'm saying, how you got on and shit. That's what I'm talking about. Goddamn, nothing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it turn around, chick. Maybe turn around.
He thought it would be a good idea for X to be closer to the recording studio. And he also hoped that living together would help him keep an eye on him, to help keep him out of trouble. He wasn't even going to charge him any rent, at least not until they made some money. He recorded more tapes and songs, like 3 Little Pigs and Creativity. Jack then took 3 of X's best songs and sent it to different record labels and magazines to get him a deal. In July 1990, X went to a talent conference called New Music Seminar on 99th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, which was very influential in the hip-hop world at the time, because it was supported by the major record labels and attended by different kinds of people from all over the country who were just hungry to get into hip-hop. X battled multiple people and won round after round, and in the end, he won the award for Best Rapper. Jack McNasty then had some good news for him. One of the first places he sent X's demo to was the hip-hop magazine The Source, and they wanted to interview him for Unsigned Hype. DMX the Great was about to be known as the best unsigned rapper in the country.
DMX the Great, Pimp or Die. Club 12 will play it.
The Source had a new artist column they ran every month called Unsigned Hype, and X was later featured on the January 91 issue. But before that, on November 16th, 1990, he battled the biggest rapper in Yonkers at the time, called Bill Blass. It was a prize fight at Madison Square Garden, and X ended up winning. His victory got everyone talking. People immediately wanted a rematch, which X agreed to, destroying Bill Blass once again and ending his career. His manager McNasty hooked him up with a lot of shows and producers, but signing the paperwork supposedly kept him broke for a long time, because he was responsible for all his expenses and studio costs, while Jack made a percentage of the money that was coming in. And X was terrible at managing his finances, especially with him spending so much money on crack cocaine. He had been addicted to it for years and he never got over it until the day he died. Jack tried to get him signed to a label by going from one company to another, but everyone felt like he wasn't marketable and his voice was too rough. They also wanted him to be a dancer. This frustrated him. No one wanted to sign him, but everyone wanted to mold him into something that he didn't want to be. He also started to argue with the people he was working with. He even stole from them to make up for all the money he had to spend while earning little to nothing, stealing the chain of the rapper Top Quality, who Jack was managing. TQ was one of the rappers X battled a couple months earlier, and in retaliation he called his homies to get X jumped. DMX supposedly stood his ground and actually managed to do some damage, which is why they called the cops on him. Later that night, X, his cousins, uncle and aunt all got arrested after 6 police cars pulled up to his grandmother's house. By this point, he was used to getting locked up every other month, used to sleeping on hard surfaces, eating rotten foods, accepting the dirty loneliness. In jail, X found out that K-Solo had released a song called Spellbound, using the same style and lyrics X used during their battle. They both accused each other of biting, claiming that they were the ones coming up with the lyrics. That was the start of DMX's first beef. A couple weeks later, X's manager paid $2,500 bond to get him out of jail. But working with Jack didn't help him to advance in his career. So he signed a management deal with the then unknown record label Ruff Ryders Entertainment. Later that year in '91, Columbia Records signed him to its subsidiary labels Chaos Records and Rough House Records, which released his major debut single Born Loser on September 16, 1992 as a cassette. He performed it a couple months before the release at the New Music Seminar 1992, which took place on June 17th. X had his first child, Xavier Simmons, in December '92. And then in '93, his song Born Loser got re-released as a proper 12-inch single. But X felt that Rough House didn't put enough marketing power behind it, so not enough people heard it. Failing to meet commercial projections and not reaching any music charts, he was then terminated from his one-song contract with Rough House, becoming an independent artist. In spring '93, DMX performed at Drexel College in Philadelphia, the same city his father moved to when he abandoned X more than 15 years ago. They were actually able to meet at a hotel. X was very disappointed when he saw what had become of the man he used to idolize. My father was standing in the lobby. He was wearing 4 different pairs of leg warmers, red and white stripes, purple, green and orange. All of them were in different lengths. He also had on a pair of tan corduroy pants that were tucked inside the leg warmers, with a tan corduroy jacket with elbow patches, and he had dreadlocks. My father walked over to give me a hug. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was the man I had wondered about my whole life? This was the man who took me downtown as a boy and made me feel special? The man who left my mom's for a white woman and skipped town? 4 different pairs of leg warmers? What's up, Earl? How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? You got a lawyer? Those were the first words to me after all these years. Are you taking care of yourself? How about I love you, or I miss you, or you look good? His cold, judgmental attitude cut through me, scolding without even knowing. That was not what I wanted to hear. Are you getting things right? It didn't take me long to not like him. Now, I know that I didn't try very hard either, but I was the child. I was the one who had suffered for years from the choices he had made, and I didn't feel like talking. I wasn't the one who left. Within 5 minutes, our conversation was over, and after more than 15 years being without him, my father was gone again. Shortly after his trip to Philly, X was sentenced to a...
That's some sad ass shit. God damn, twin. I don't even know what the goddamn say. I ain't gonna lie. Shit.
year and a half of solitary confinement for spitting in the face of a captain. He was back in Valhalla Correctional Facility. They put him in lockdown block 3K. That was his home for almost a year. After his release in '94, he tried working a regular 9-to-5 job, but it never worked out. First he worked at the post office in White Plains. It didn't last 1 week. Another time he got a demolition job in a warehouse and had to spend 10 hours knocking down walls and breaking up stoves and radiators. After 3 weeks, his boss laid him off because he was the youngest guy in the crew. He was still broke and dealing with addiction, but had to worry about his girlfriend Tashira and his son Xavier. Trying to make money by all means necessary, but preferably without getting locked up again. In spring '94, he gave up on finding a job and started selling mixtapes again. His grandmother was proud of him. When he showed her his single Born Loser, he always brought his son over to see her. But then in July '94, she was admitted to the hospital for cancer treatment. Since she was looking after him his entire life, X felt like it was now his turn to return the favor. Most afternoons, he would sit by her bedside for as long as the doctors would allow him. But then on September 21st, 1994, she passed away. She never got to see X become the legend he is today. DMX wanted to die with her, because she was one of the only people in the world who truly loved and cared for him. He didn't have a father or a mother in his life anymore. And now with his grandma gone, it was like he didn't have any more parental figures left anymore. He never got to resolve his mommy issues, and never knew what it's like to have a father in your life. That same year in '94, X moved to Baltimore, since the owners of Ruff Ryders Entertainment, with whom he was close, set up shop in Maryland. X wasn't a hustler, but he gave it a shot. So they started selling drugs to make money. The city inspired him a lot and shaped him as an artist, cause his writing skills improved dramatically. He wrote the iconic songs Coming From, Let Me Fly and X Is Coming, some of his best tracks. He got better and better day by day, and his lyrics became more emotional and introspective. That was around the time when the West Coast label Death Row Records attempted to sign him in a joint venture with Ruff Ryders. The label boss Suge Knight flew out DMX and the Ruff Ryders to the West Coast for a meeting. After hours of negotiations, it was clear that X was not going to join them. But he still believed that one day he'd be a star, so he kept sharpening his skills and reaching out to other labels. One day they called X to come to New York to support his Ruff Ryders label mates Harlem Nights, who were battling the group Original Flavor in a pool hall on 145th Street in South Bronx. X drove all the way back to New York for the battle. Original Flavor was connected to a rapper called Jay-Z, who was there as a backup for them. X was supposed to be the backup for Harlem Nights. The rap legend Big L was there too that night, videotaping the event. At this point in time, neither Jay nor X had an album out. They were just getting started. It was around 1 AM and the crowd was thick. Jay and X weren't supposed to battle. They were just chilling on the side. But when things started to get nasty and both sides started dissing each other, the crowd started motivating J and X to battle. The people knew that those two were the top dogs of their crews, and they wanted them to go at it. They both
Who y'all going with, Jay-Z or DMX? Who y'all going with? I'm going with DMX, you know what I'm saying? I can't stand Jay-Z. But who y'all going with, Jay-Z or DMX? Rap battle.
Climbed on top of a pool table, and Jay stood in front of him starting to rap right away. The crowd went crazy. Then it was X's turn, and the two went back and forth for almost an hour, aggressively spitting rhymes into each other's faces. According to X, it was very close. Both sides claimed that they won, and the crowd couldn't pick a clear winner, so everyone saw it as a draw. When X left the building, it was snowing. He drove right back to Baltimore late at night. In '95, X came back to Yonkers and got close with the rap group Warlocks, aka The Locks, consisting of Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek Louch, who became part of the Ruff Ryders crew. One day, Jadakiss supposedly lost a rap battle, and X made sure to avenge him by beating them for him. '95 was also the year when the record producer Irv Gotti became an A&R talent scout for TVT Records. He was the one that brought DMX and Ja Rule together,
like Cisco a little bit though, but like Cisco,
making them hop on a Mike Geronimo track called Time to Build. So X went there and recorded his vocals for the track, but then Gotti did him dirty by making Jay-Z get on the same track without X knowing, and the two were competing at the time. So X thought Jay-Z got on it to destroy him on the track. Jay supposedly got upset that X got to have the final verse on the track, so he dissed him in the verse without X being able to respond. X told Gotti, if you were going to put him on the song, why didn't you put him on the song like you put me on the song? You let him hear my ish so he knew how to counteract what I said. That gave me a disadvantage. If I knew there was going to be a battle on wax, I would have finished him. Gotti then responded, but both of y'all are my people, and I didn't know with how crazy you can get if I could safely put you two in the same room together. X saw it as a weak excuse. A few weeks later, Gotti made up for the move by taking X's demo tape to TVT Records to see if he could get him signed there like he did with his other artists. But the president of the label didn't like his material, saying that he sounded too much like the group Onyx. Puff Daddy didn't want to sign DMX to Bad Boy either. He became frustrated when he saw how Jay and Ja were making progress with their careers, while he was still as broke as when he made Born Loser in the early 90s. Cause Jay was recording his debut album Reasonable Doubt at the time, and X became a little jealous. Cause he was battling all these people like K Solo, Lord Finesse, Andre the Giant, Bill Blass, Jay, and people were saying that he never lost a battle, but somehow he was the one no one wanted to sign. Jay became DMX's first real rival, but only because X was super competitive. Since he wasn't making much progress with his career, he went right back to doing robberies, but this time his methods became more sophisticated. He would do cab hoppings, basically hop inside a taxi and tell the driver his destination, but then make him stop and wait to go inside a shop, do the robbery and then use the cab as a getaway car. In order to avoid paying the driver, he would make him stop at a
but the GTA, eh?
Welcome to the party.
That motherfucker got back in that motherfucker.
Welcome to the party.
a different shop. And this time he would be comfortable enough to let him out again. But then X just wouldn't return to finish the cab ride, so the driver would wait for him and never receive his money, while X is on his way home by foot. In spring of '96, Ruff Ryders put themselves officially on the map by signing Jadakiss, Sheek Louch, and Styles P to a record contract with Puff Daddy's Bad Boy Entertainment. They were now getting pushed by artists like the notorious B.I.G., who was the king of New York at the time. Then you also had Mace, Faith Evans, and 112. But they didn't sign X, which really discouraged him, cause he and the Locks
I don't know oh, you bald head back in the day. They go, hey, you bald head, you know what I'm saying? Well, I can't say because Jada Kid was bald head. I don't know.
Just recorded the song Done Started Something, which appeared on the Bad Boy Mixtape Volume 4, released in June that year. X even dissed Biggie's rival Tupac in hopes of getting some of his spotlight and a little more push from Puffy.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Fall out there, man. Gonna fall out, boy. You can't do my boy like that now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I forgive you. You don't want to probably forgive.
And Biggie, but they were only interested in the locks.
Transforming this, we'll get it quick. And yo, for real, like again, Tupac to suck my dick.
So X complained to Irv Gotti, and he kept telling him to keep going, that one day he'll make it big.
DMX versus Tupac, like, song for song. I don't know DMX, but my boy might kill you, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, I think they're going to make me an A&R over at Def Jam. So as soon as I get in there, I don't want to hear that ish, X said. I don't give a F anymore. Gotti, I've been doing this ish for 12 years. Gotti then said, dog, you know you're the nicest guy out here. It's gonna happen. One day, DMX saw a bunch of men running from the cops, and one of them dropped a chain, which X quickly picked up and put in his sock. He later sold it for $40. Later on, he got approached by people who accused him of robbing the 16-year-old that lost the chain, saying that he didn't actually drop it, but that X robbed him, because he had a reputation for robbing people in the neighborhood. They jumped him and gave him a terrible beating. After taking a couple of blows to the face, he fell to the ground, where they stomped him out with their Timberland boots. They then took him to the park to finish the job. The mob grew and everyone took turns with him. One of them picked up a brick while X was lying on the ground. Then he heard sirens and somehow managed to summon all of the strength he had left to get up, stumbling away as fast as he could. A few minutes later, an ambulance found him a few blocks away, laid out on the street in a pool of blood. His head and face were numb, and he also said that his ribs felt like they were crushed against his lungs. He was having an asthma attack. His face looked deformed. It was swollen and inflamed. His clothes were torn off during the beating. 3 days later, he felt like he was getting worse. It was getting harder and harder for him to breathe. And every time he woke up, there was blood all over his pillow. The right side of his neck had swollen out past his face. One side of his jaw appeared to be hanging lower than the other, and the front of his chin was loose. He couldn't stop drooling blood. The doctors at the hospital were doing a terrible job, so he was taken to the hospital at the Valhalla prison. And there they found out that he had a huge abscess in his throat filled with pus. They told him that if he had stayed one more day without treatment, all of the infected liquid in his face would have begun to choke him to death. They also said that his nose and the upper and lower jaw were broken. 3 days prior, the doctors at the hospital told him that he was fine and just sent him back home without any proper treatment. Probably because he neither had his ID.
You was a doctor, they say one thing, and then another doctor talking about somewhere. They be trying to get some money at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
With him, or money or insurance. The prison doctors, on the other hand, took his condition very seriously. He was immediately sent into surgery to reset his jaw and remove all the pus. And then they wired his mouth closed. After the surgery, they kept him for 3 days under observation. His mother didn't bother to pay him a visit. All she said was that she heard about it. Didn't really care for him anymore. X's jaw was wired closed for 3 months. He couldn't eat any solid food or chew. Couldn't drink anything that he couldn't sip through a straw. It also couldn't be too hot or too cold, or else it would inflame the nerve endings in his mouth. He also couldn't talk. Instead, he was forced to make sounds of words through his clenched teeth. Forced to eat blended food, and no one came to visit him. The story of DMX getting beaten up was all over Yonkers the same week it happened. But that didn't seem to motivate any of his friends or family members to pick up the phone or knock on his door. He thought the beating and ostracization was God teaching him a lesson for all the robberies he did over the years. I had been robbing people my whole life, and I never had this type of dirt thrown back at me until now. Until the one time I didn't rob the guy. That was crazy. And I couldn't help to wonder if my beatdown was some kind of spiritual payback. Had I earned it? Had the 15 years that I had spent robbing and stealing with no mask and no gun finally come back to haunt me? The more I thought about it, the more it made sense.
Can't say that motherfucker wasn't gangster though. That nigga did this shit with no mask. And no goddamn gun.
Oh my God!
The more I began to believe that the beatdown had been my day of judgment. I was hurt. I was effed up. I almost died. But God was doing nothing but teaching me a lesson. You wanna piss in the bed, Earl? Huh? Then sleep in it. X wanted to kill his attackers one by one and wouldn't have felt any remorse for it. But he kept thinking about who he was and the lessons he needed to learn. And in the end, those vengeful thoughts began to fade. During recovery, he thought to himself that he could never go back to doing robberies. Rap was the only way out for him. So he started rapping again, yelling with a damaged jaw, trying to get better, rapping through the wire.
You say you ain't know none of this shit? Me either, bro. It's my first time, like, I know DMX for, like, his hit songs, shit. I ain't know, like, you know, I always see clips of him when he be talking, you know what I'm saying, going through shit, but I ain't, like, know, like, the backstory, you know what I'm saying? Shit crazy. I appreciate it, though, bro. I'm gonna go back for y'all.
Nothing but teaching me a lesson. You wanna piss in the bed, Earl? Huh? Then sleep in it. X wanted to kill his attackers one by one and wouldn't have felt any remorse for it. But he kept thinking about who he was and the lessons he needed to learn. And in the end, those vengeful thoughts began to fade. During recovery, he thought to himself that he could never go back to doing robberies. Rap was the only way out for him. So he started rapping again, yelling with a damaged jaw, trying to get better, rapping through the wire. On November 1st, DJ Ron G's mixtape Street Dreams hit the streets and contained a track called Ghetto Life Freestyle, which X had recorded a couple weeks before the beatdown. The tape actually gave X a lot of publicity. He impressed a lot of hip-hop fans and A&Rs with his raps. While X's mouth was still wired shut, Irv Gotti paid him a visit and told him that the mixtape finally gave him the attention he wanted. Cause the president of Def Jam Records, Lyor Cohen, had heard it. In early '97, Irv Gotti became an A&R for Def Jam, and he made Lyor Cohen listen to the tape. They were all impressed, so he told
Irv Gotti was another goddamn Suge Knight. So they had Diddy without the Diddy parties.
Gotti to set up a date with X where they can get to know each other. Def Jam at the time was being grossly outsold by Death Row Records and Bad Boy Entertainment because of rap heavyweights like Snoop Dogg, the Notorious B.I.G., the Dogg Pound and Tupac, who had just passed away. Def Jam needed a new face to revive the label. They spent $100 million to sell $60 million worth of music the year Lyor came to see X at Powerhouse. So they weren't selling many records, even with big names on the label like Method Man, Redman and Onyx. That's why they were desperately looking for new talents. When Gotti paid X a visit, he told him,
MC's strip.
"So dog, tell me when you're going to get your wires off, and I'll set a date for all the check writers to come to Powerhouse." X then responded through his clenched teeth, "It doesn't matter, man. They can come whenever they want." "Yeah, but X, we want them to see you at your best. This will probably be the only time they'll come up here. I'm going to bring Lyor Cohen with me, who's the president, and the brother they got up there, Kevin Lyles. Irv, I don't give a F. They can come whenever they want. I'm gonna do what I do." X, your jaw is wired shut. "It doesn't matter, dog."
He said, do porn next. Your followers. Y'all want me to do porn next stream? I did like porn like I think 3 months ago. I do a recap. We'll do big porn. His shit worse. You be like, man, that shit gonna make you goddamn want to cry. I ain't gonna lie. That shit made me want to damn cry for that. It's sad how he went out too, bro. Like for word.
Don't you understand?
I do big porn.
That ish doesn't matter to me. Bring them up here. Okay, F it. Then I'll let them know it's on tomorrow.
I got you.
Whatever, man. It's on tomorrow then. That night, Powerhouse was packed. The Lux were there along with more than a dozen up-and-coming MCs who were battling. One of them stopped rapping when he saw X walking in and the beat was cut. They all made space for him, moving to the sides similar to how Moses split the Red Sea. Yo, throw the beat back on. X rapped the lyrics he had just written for a song called The CONVO, which would later make it on his debut album along with most of the other tracks he had at the time. He started sweating and could feel the wires in his mouth pulling, straining to keep his jaw together. But he wanted to prove to everyone that he can rhyme better than anyone in the world. He then rapped the lyrics to the song Let Me Fly, and after that Leo Cohen jumped up yelling, "That's it. He's the man. DMX is the man." That was the day that changed his life forever. In March of '97, the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment, Puff Daddy, suffered through the murder of his artist and friend, the Notorious B.I.G. So now both labels, Death Row and Bad Boy, were basically crippled. Tupac had sold millions of records a year prior and proved to everyone
Give me a hell yeah!
I had to do that, my boy. You know I had to do that for one time.
that a real hip-hop artist could sell just as much as pop artists. Biggie did the same in '97, but now the rap game was looking for the next big thing. With the faces of both coasts passing away, DMX was up next. While Puffy tried to make hip-hop more bright, colorful and flashy, X wanted to take it back to the streets with his dark and grimy sound and image. So basically the complete opposite. Def Jam wanted to make sure to give him the audience and attention he needed to become the next hip-hop king. So in May '97, after years and years of struggling in the music business, X was finally signed to Def Jam Records. Toward the end of '97, some of the songs he had done guest verses on started playing on the radio. Like for example, The Lux's Money, Power and Respect, LL Cool J's 4321, Cameron's Pull It, and Mace's 24 Hours to Live. Puffy supposedly had a problem with X cursing too much on 24 Hours.
He always got a problem with something. He on my goddamn nerve. Damn. He hate bald niggas. I don't know why he hate bald. He hate bald niggas. Bald niggas with chain, he hate them motherfuckers. He hate Tupac. Now you hate DMX. Motherfucker. Somebody cursed to me. Like, motherfucker. So ass, damn. You don't even rap.
To live. So he told him to redo the verse. Who is that last guy? Angie Martinez, the Hot 97 DJ, said on air when she first heard him. From that point on, all eyes were on him. Puffy then actually tried to sign him to Bad Boy after initially turning him down back in '96 because he felt like X was too hard for the radio. But now he started to regret it, offering X double whatever Def Jam's money was, but X turned it down. Around that same time, X started working on his debut album, not only recording all the tracks he had previously written but never got a chance to record, but also new ones like Get At Me Dog, Stop Being Greedy, How's It Going Down, and Damien. The same night he recorded Damien, he decided to call the album It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. It was the perfect title.
Hey, chat, for y'all, for all DMX fans, what's a good DMX song or album? Y'all let me know, because I want to listen to some DMX when I get off stream. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know too much about DMX. I ain't never listened to his albums. I know like his hits, like most of his hit songs. So y'all put me on, twin. Go drop it in the comments. Let me know what songs to listen to before I get off stream.
The darkness described my biggest challenges. Hell described the reality of the world I was living in. After all these years, was the world finally ready to hear what I was trying to say? Irv Gotti then introduced him to a video director called Hype Williams, who ended up casting him for the lead role in the movie Belly, giving him even more exposure. On May 19th, 1998, Def Jam then released X's debut album, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard album charts and sold more than 250,000 copies in its first week. Ruff Ryders' anthem became the monster jam of the summer. That's when Def Jam challenged him to deliver another album right away. And when Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood was released on December 22nd of the same year, it sold more than 670,000 copies in the first week, again debuting as the #1 album in the country. X became the second artist in history to release 2 albums in the same year that both debuted at the top of the Billboard charts. The first being Tupac with All Eyes on Me and the Don Killuminati's 7 Day Theory. And that's when the comparison started. People called X the new Tupac.
He the new Tupac? Hold on now. Chat, he was new Tupac? Let me know. Hold on, we're gonna go back.
Def Jam challenged him to deliver another album right away. And when Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood was released on December 22nd of the same year, it sold more than 670,000 copies in the first week, again debuting as the #1 album in the country. X became the second artist in history to release 2 albums in the same year that both debuted at the top of the Billboard charts. The first being Tupac with All Eyes on Me and the Don Killuminati's 7 Day Theory. And that's when the comparison started. People called X the new Tupac. But X never liked those comparisons, saying, "I'm not the next Pac, I'm the first X." In spring '99, DMX and Jay battled once again backstage on the Hard Knock Live tour. And that same year, X finally got married to his girlfriend Tashira. Their relationship had tons of ups and downs, especially because of X's drug use, which resulted in him being verbally abusive and overly aggressive towards her. But they still decided to tie the knot. According to his wife, his drug use got out of control as soon as he started becoming successful. He already had a bad temper and anger issues, but the drugs amplified it. In June that same year, when officers of the Fort Lee Police Department executed a search of his home, X promptly surrendered himself on weapons possession charges. But they also found pipes for smoking crack cocaine and 14 caged pitbulls. X was still a drug addict. His newfound wealth didn't help him to overcome it. It made it only easier for him to buy it. He then faced 13 counts of animal cruelty, 2 counts of maintaining a nuisance, disorderly conduct, and possession of drug paraphernalia. X was then released on $50,000 bail. The weapons possession charges were later dropped as part of a plea bargain 3 years later. But he ended up pleading guilty to charges of animal cruelty, disorderly conduct, and possession of drug paraphernalia. He was fined $1,000 for each count of animal cruelty, in order to produce public service announcements for the Humane Society warning children against guns and animal abuse to avoid jail time. Through all this, he was also recording music. In December '99, he released his 3rd studio album, And Then There Was X, which sold 698,000 copies in the first week, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200, becoming his best-selling album and eventually going 5 times platinum. In March 2000, X was then arrested for driving without a license and possession of marijuana after being
Give me a hell yeah! What?
pulled over for speeding. He served a 15-day jail sentence for the charge in February 2001.
Besides the goddamn drug addiction. Him Tupac like the same. I ain't gonna care. Like weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Am I tripping?
After a warrant was issued for his arrest when he initially failed to appear in court. After improving his legal situation, X returned to the studio to record his next project. October 23, 2001, he made history again, when his 4th album, The Great Depression, debuted at #1 on the Billboard chart, selling 440,000 copies in the first week, and making that a string of 4 in a row. By this point, he had sold around 15 million albums, headlined a few national tours, and had become a worldwide star at the box office, connecting with generations of young people who are sparked by aggression that he never tried to hide, and becoming a hero for those who can relate to the pain that he was so willing to share. But there is a mental toll that is often charged to an artist when they achieve this level of super success. The frustrating ironies of being adored by millions of people that you don't know and definitely don't know you. And when you have chosen to take this time to ask yourself the most difficult questions, to look inside the deepest, darkest corners of your life, it's not hard to imagine conflict or nightmares. X was on top of the game, but he didn't want to be in it for too long. I don't think I'm gonna be in this rap game long, dog. 5 years, that's it. And I've got 3.5 in now. There's a higher calling for me. and I'm no longer afraid or ashamed of it. In 2002, X entered a drug rehabilitation program to address his issues with substance abuse, more specifically his crack cocaine addiction, a problem he battled throughout his life. Although he entered rehabilitation to deal with the addiction, he quickly relapsed and continued to face legal and substance abuse challenges in the following years. On September 16, 2003, he then released his fifth #1 album called Grand Champ, selling 312,000 copies in the first week. So this was now the second album in a row with lower sales than usual, only going platinum this time. It was X's final album to achieve a certification. After its release, he informed the public that he planned to retire, intending for Grand Champ to be his final album. He wanted to retire to become a...
Hey, we can walk past it. I ain't know Cradle to the Grave. I ain't know Cradle to the Grave, that movie was a Tupac song. Did y'all know that? That title that Cradle to the Grave, the DMX with what was Jackie Chan? Not Jackie Chan, but Jet Li. That's a Tupac song. I did not know that. Well, I know now, but I did not know that at the time.
Pastor. In June 2004, X was arrested at the John F. Kennedy International Airport on charges of cocaine possession, criminal impersonation, criminal possession of a weapon, criminal mischief, menacing, and driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, while claiming to be a federal agent and attempting to carjack a vehicle. He was given a conditional discharge on December 8, 2004, but pleaded guilty on October 25, 2005 to violating parole. On November 18th, X was then sentenced to 70 days in jail at Rikers Island for violating parole. He was released early for good behavior on December 30th, 2005. And then, after a conflict with Def Jam, he left the label to sign with Columbia Records once again, returning to the label after getting dropped in '92. Shortly afterwards, he started working on his next album. It had been almost 3 years since Grand Champ hit the streets, and the media was slandering him for all the arrests and drug charges, saying that he fell off and that his career is over. X tried to make a comeback by releasing his sixth studio album Year of the Dog again on August 1st, 2006, which sold 125,000 copies in the first week. But for the first time, it did not debut at #1 on Billboard. He faced harsh criticism, not only for the quality of the album, but also for its decline in popularity and success. In August 2007, DMX's home in the Phoenix area was raided on reports of animal cruelty to his 12 pitbulls on the property. X maintained that any neglect was the result of a caretaker who was not...
You can't be messing with them dogs. Them people do not play about them dogs. Them cats and them dogs. They don't play about them. They ain't even think you doing something. They coming for you. They don't get it. Then who you is? You can be Freddie Jackson. They gonna come for you.
Taking proper supervision of the dogs. But they also found a 1/4 ounce of marijuana in his home. On May 9th, 2008, X was then arrested again on drug and animal cruelty charges after attempting to barricade himself inside his home in Arizona. He then pleaded guilty to charges of drug possession, theft, and animal cruelty at a hearing on December 30th, 2008. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail on January 31st, 2009. There, he told Fox 10 News that jail helped him to realize his quote-unquote true calling in life, which is being a pastor. I came here to meet somebody, to tell them that Jesus loves them, to tell them about the glory of God. But then he got into another assault incident where he threw a food tray at a detention officer, leading to charges of attempted aggravated assault, for which he later pleaded guilty and received 18 months of probation, avoiding further jail time by agreeing to counseling in Florida. After serving 4 out of 6 months for violating drug probation, X was released from jail on July 6, 2010. That day, a television pilot was filmed to portray X's road to recovery. However, X was arrested 3 weeks later and the pilot did not evolve into a series. Cause on July 27, 2010, X turned himself in to Los Angeles Metropolitan Court for a reckless driving charge he received in 2002. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail. Shortly after his release, he got arrested again on November 19, 2010 for violating his probation for aggravated assault on an officer. A month later, on December 20th, X moved to the mental health unit of the Arizona Alhambra State Prison and got released on July 18th, 2011. A month later, on August 24th, 2011, he was arrested for the 10th time in Maricopa County, this time for speeding, recorded at 102 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. He was also facing charges for reckless driving and driving with a suspended license. X was cited and released on bond the next day. On March 21st, 2012, VH1 aired the first episode of the show Couples Therapy, in which X and his estranged wife, Tashira Simmons, underwent intensive relationship therapy with Dr. Jen Berman to address the issues in their 12-year marriage, revealing raw moments of conflict, DMX's struggles with addiction and trauma, including a breakthrough reunion with his estranged mother, showcasing his vulnerability alongside his defiance of the rules. One of the key moments of the show was him explaining how he doesn't remember his mother ever telling him that she loves him.
You never got to have that mommy experience.
No. And she never, not once she ever told me that she loved me.
And then they finally reunited, after decades of not seeing each other. X once again broke down in tears.
How you doing, baby? Don't cry. How you doing? How you doing? Ooh, we so good.
Nah, baby, goddamn cry. Shit.
Like I can't hold you tight enough.
Then she asked if my mother came in, and she walked.
Appreciate the heart.
Yeah, she walked in the door, and I think it's at that point right there that I just let everything go. I mean, I just hugged her. You know, she crying, I'm crying. It was like I don't know, a different. It wasn't a hurt cry. It was like, yes, this is what I need. And yeah.
I'm sorry. I am truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I don't care what it was. I don't care what it was. I don't care what it was, what it is. I don't care.
It's okay. I'm all right.
After 6 years of silence, X
Hold on, Jet. Better give me right here.
released his 7th studio album Undisputed on September 11th, 2012, selling 17,000 copies in the first week, debuting at number 19 on the US Billboard 200 chart, which is his worst performing album to date. His comeback didn't work out. He was too far gone, as far as mental and drug problems go. On February 13th, 2013, X was arrested once again in South Carolina for driving without a license. And 5 months later, on July 26th, he was arrested once again in the same state and charged.
I live in South Carolina. The motherfuckers do not play about this shit. They would get your motherfucking ass down here. So, they would get your ass.
Charged with driving under the influence of alcohol, as well as driving without a license. A month later, on August 20th, he was arrested yet again during a traffic stop. After a car he was a passenger in made an improper U-turn, he was arrested due to an outstanding warrant for driving under suspension. They also found 4 packages of marijuana in the vehicle. 2.5 months later, on November 4th, X was once again arrested by the Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport Police after they noticed X behind the wheel of a vehicle at the terminal.
See, South Carolina small, y'all. I'm from South Carolina. I'm from Greenville, Spartanburg. All that shit, grid. We know. It's a small community. We already know your favorite DMX. Shit, yeah, they gonna keep getting your ass.
He was booked on charges of driving with a suspended license, having an uninsured vehicle, and driving an unlicensed vehicle. He was subsequently released after spending 3 hours in jail. In 2014, DMX got divorced from his wife Tashira and was ordered to pay $10,000 of child support per month for their 4 children. He filed for bankruptcy 3 times to avoid paying child support, but the filings were dismissed by the US Bankruptcy Court in Manhattan. In 2015, a man accused X of robbing him, and on June 26th, he was arrested in New York and charged in New Jersey with robbery and failure to pay child support. A couple weeks later, on July 14th, X was sentenced to 6 months in jail for failure to pay $400,000 in child support. On February 10th, 2016, X was found unresponsive in a parking lot in Yonkers, New York. He was resuscitated by first responders and intravenously given Narcan, a drug that reverses opioid. He responded quickly and became semi-conscious. He was then rushed to the hospital. A witness said X ingested a powdered substance before collapsing, but police found no illegal substances on the property. According to X, it was from an asthma attack. In July 2017, X was charged with 14 federal counts of tax fraud. Federal prosecutors charged him with failing to file income tax returns from 2010 to 2015, a period in which he earned at least $2.3 million. He pleaded guilty to a single count of tax fraud in November 2017 and was originally free pending sentencing, but was remanded to jail in January 2018 after leaving a drug treatment program ordered by the court and relapsing with cocaine and oxycodone. While being in rehab, he gained around 40 pounds, but people thought he looked healthier. In March 2018, he was then sentenced to a year in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. The court also ordered him to pay $2.29 in restitution to the government. He was released from prison on January 25, 2019, re-entering drug rehabilitation a 3rd time to get his crack cocaine addiction under control. But he would once again relapse and consume the drugs in secret, pretending to be clean, trying to fool his loved ones by convincing them that he's finally off the drugs. But he never stopped. He was fighting his demons his entire life.
That dude fucked his ass up. I ain't gonna lie. That dude he looked up to fucked his ass up when he laced his fucking shit with the C word. I ain't gonna say it on live. With the C word, y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all been here, y'all know what I'm talking about.
It was a battle that X wasn't able to win, as things got worse and worse the older he got, and the more his health declined. On April 2nd, 2021, at approximately 11 p.m., X was rushed to White Plains Hospital where he was reported to be in critical condition, following a heart attack at his home, possibly resulting from a drug overdose. He suffered cerebral hypoxia as paramedics attempted to resuscitate him for 30 minutes. The next day, his attorney confirmed that X was on life support. His former manager said that he was in a vegetative state with lung and brain failure and no current brain activity. He was comatose and sent to undergo tests to determine his brain's functionality. 6 days later, on the morning of April 9th, X lost functionality in multiple essential organs, reportedly his liver, kidneys, and lungs, and was pronounced dead shortly after, at the age of 50. He was the father of 15 children, respected and idolized by millions of people.
I thought he had 3 or 4, he had 15.
All around the world, including myself. His funeral took place in Brooklyn on April 25th, and a month later, on May 25th, they released his final album Exodus through his old label Def Jam, which he signed to 2 years prior, selling 32,000 copies in the first week and debuting at number 8 on the US Billboard 200 chart. DMX's life was never simple, never clean, and never easy. He gave the world his pain, his faith, and his truth, unfiltered and unapologetic. While his struggles ultimately took a heavy toll, his voice, his honesty, and his impact on hip-hop will never fade. Behind the headlines and controversies was a man searching for peace in a world that never stopped testing him. As fans, all we can do now is remember the music, learn from the story, and honor the legacy of an artist.
That's crazy. Well, somebody passed away, he passed away too. Damn, that's crazy. I think they're Michael Jackson.
Turn suffering into something unforgettable. Rest in peace, DMX.
Rest in peace, DMX, man. Shout out to hip hop. Big pun shit. Oh my god. But if y'all want to go check the future videos, y'all make sure y'all go to Hip Hop Universe www stream. I appreciate everybody coming through. We will be live tomorrow, 11 p.m. We might be back on Tupac, or we might do a big pun. I'm if y'all subscribe to my channel, I'm gonna let y'all know what y'all want to see tomorrow night. But keep y'all posted. Thank y'all for coming in. I'll see y'all tomorrow.